You guys, I'm super pumped. I feel like God just brings people together, and Lauren and I have had the pleasure of connecting over the last couple of days. We've been kind of keeping each other accountable late on Zoom, and it's just turned into us, asking each other questions. And I just want to know her story and how she's able to make so much cash from social media. She told me her highest month is like over 1,000 and average 300. And I just want to hear her story. And I figured why not, have her share it with everyone. So I will let you take it away. I can unmute you unless you can do it yourself.
I got it.
All right. Awesome.
Hey guys. Oh my gosh, I'm so stoked to be here. I am fighting a double ear infection, so bear with me. My voice sounds a little bit wonky to me today anyway. Maybe it's just my ears. I can't hear anything, but it's no big deal. I am so excited to be here. I'm trying to figure out where I can see other people. Hold on. There we go. Okay. I was just seeing this random empty face. Okay. Anyway, so my name is Lauren Jewett. I am a diamond leader in this company, and I have been in the company for 2 years, a little over 2 years. I actually joined this company 2.5 years ago, and I started working this business a year and a half ago. And I say that because for the first year that I was in this business and in this company, I really didn't work it. I posted frequently, but I didn't understand what it meant to work it. And you guys, there is something that I have learned over and over and over again. It's the fact that you have to work this business every day, even when you don't feel like it. And you guys, I'm a really honest person. I'm very red and blue. And so I'm just going to shoot straight with you guys. I have totally been struggling the last couple months. I suffer from anxiety and depression. And I've just been really struggling. My son is 2 years old. And when we first started this business, we actually were living in a homeless shelter, and he was a newborn. So I know struggle. I know what it feels like to live in the negative 6 days out of the week with your bank account. I know what it feels like to give up meals for your spouse. You guys, I remember days where I would skip meals to make sure that my wife was eating because I wasn't working out as in the real world as much as she was. I was working full time, but you guys, she was working 3 jobs. And if you've ever been in a position where you feel like you have done so much and you've done all of the things that you're supposed to do according to society and you still can't get ahead, drop a 1 below, because you guys, I've been there. We've all been there. And it's not about whether or not you're doing what's right according to other people. It's about being willing to do new things and push past what everybody else is telling you should do, because there is a quote and it says, don't take directions from somebody to get where you're trying to go if they haven't already been there. Okay. So remember that. So when you are feeling like I have been feeling, you just have to, like Natalie said, you have to find those connections and you have to hold on to them. And you guys, you have such an amazing leader, somebody who cares so much about you guys. We have been talking about how much everybody means to her and how much my team means to me for 2 days now. So please know that you have that, because it's really important for you guys to hear that from other people too. So started this business, and when I started, I needed $200 a month, and I really just wanted to be able to eat food for every meal that didn't involve ramen noodles. Just to be 100% real with you guys, if you're like me and you started for $200 to $500, drop a 2 below, because a lot of us did. And I think that especially when we start making money, we forget to talk about the small things. You guys, it's the fact that I get to buy the big box of diapers from Amazon monthly on a subscription for my son that changed things for me. It's the fact that when Amazon screws up royally and I spent $15 to buy a big box of wipes and they lose it and it takes 5 days to get my money back, that I can go to the grocery store and spend another $20 to buy that same box and not have to like figure out how my son's gonna get his butt wiped. Okay. Like those are the things we need to be talking about. So we're going to talk about small cash and we're going to talk about big cash. But what I want you guys to take away from this is that the big cash, it might sound great to you now that you've been in this business and hearing about big cash, but big cash sounds scammy, it sounds fake, and it sounds terrifying to the majority of the population out there. So when you're talking about something, okay, when I'm going to sit here and tell you about how I made like almost $1,200 in 1 month with Keto Cash, I want you guys to remember that that is not something I go around telling people. Not because I'm not proud of it, but because that's scary. So if you're going to sit here and you're going to watch this video and you're going to be thinking like I would have in the past with my red personality, well, I didn't make that much money. I want to make that much money. I'm not successful if I'm not making that much money. You guys have to remember that much money is not successful to other people. That much money isn't possible to other people. Okay. So I want to say that before we get started. So do you have any questions or I'm good to keep going? Good to keep going. Okay. So here's the deal. I love Host to Post. Host to Post is like the thing for me. And I exploded my business. So I told you guys I didn't do anything for the first year. I remember one day just sitting over the fryer at work when I was frying fried chicken that honestly did not even taste that great. And so I had to feed people really crappy chicken, which sucked. But you guys, I was sitting over this fryer and I remember calling my upline because my enroller quit. So I had that against me too. So I'm homeless, I'm lesbian, married to a mixed woman. Okay. So like, keep stacking them on, okay? I'm going to just give them all to you. I have a newborn at the time, living in a homeless shelter. He has colic. I was working a really crappy job. I was broke. And I was a Christian. So I like didn't fit in anywhere, it felt like. And you guys, so I had all these things going against me. And I remember reaching out to my upline and being like, I don't get it. Like I'm posting every day and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do and I don't understand. I don't know what I'm supposed to do differently to get to where I'm trying to go. And I need this money because I can't keep working here because they're treating me like crap. They're cutting my hours. We're going from broker to brokest and I didn't even know I could get more broke than I was. And I don't know what to do. And she literally was like, you probably don't think you're worthy. And I'm like, oh, seriously, like I'm waiting for you to tell me what to do and you're like, he probably doesn't think you're worthy. And I was so angry about that. Did you guys know what I did next? I started personal development. Personal development led me to being brave enough to reach out and do the things I was scared to do, and that was Host to Post. Okay, I went from very literally not a single BV point or GV point in my entire business to promoting to executive on the old chart, and I had over 1,200 in volume in 11 days. Okay, let me tell you how I did that. Okay, I started Host to Post, and for every person who told me that they didn't want to be a customer, I was like, totally fine. I get it. Because, okay, we get a couple of different things, right? We get a couple of different excuses. One, I can't afford it. Or two, I don't want to be a part of a 3-month commitment if I've never tried it. Y'all, if you are doing Host to Post, I really encourage you to work on doing Host to Post for a product that you can put out as samples, okay? TFX is great, and I love TFX. However, I can't sample TFX. I mean, I guess I could, but they're not really going to get results, right? They're not going to know if it's working. Coffee, energy pixie sticks, greens, any of those things, wraps, facials, like all of those things, you can sample, okay? So be using those for your Host to Post, because what happens is when people give me that excuse, oh, I don't want to be in a 3-month commitment, totally get it. I'm the same way. Why don't I go ahead and give you a discount and you can try a few samples? And they're like, oh, that sounds great. And then I'm like, awesome. Did you want to do a 5-day or a 10-day? There is no less than 5-day for me. Why? Because I lost 4 pounds in the first 5 days on our coffee. Okay. On the first 5 days, my skin started to clear up. My hair started to grow. Okay. I knew instantly if I'm getting people to try this coffee for 5 days, it does a few things. One, it gives them the opportunity to try the coffee in different ways. Because if you give somebody one packet of coffee and they don't like the one packet, guess what? They're never going to order from you again. Like, they're just not, because they're like, ew, I tried it once and it was gross. Because instant gratification is a pain in the ass, okay? So you have to be able to get around that. So I never offer anything less than 5 samples, okay? If it's a wrap, I will offer them 1, but I straight tell them, if you do 2, I'll give you an extra $5 off. I'll pay for your shipping, okay? Because I want them to have those results, okay? As far as my smaller samples, coffee, greens, energy pixie sticks, which is keto energy, by the way, guys, if you didn't know that, those don't go out in samples as less than 5, ever, okay? So I'm like, do you want 5 for $25 or do you want 10 for $40? What do you think they pick? 10 for $40 most of the time. Okay, so now they've got over a week worth of samples. Okay, so that's $40. So when I've done that, what I do is if they do the $40, I check in with them on day 3 and 7. Day 3, I just ask them how they're doing. Day 7, I come at them like, oh my gosh, I just had a spot open up. You can go ahead and get your discounted price. It's going to be cheaper than what I was able to originally give you a discount of if we can get you signed up with this 90-day challenge. And they're like, oh my gosh, yes, I loved the coffee, or no, I wasn't really a fan of the coffee. I'm like, I completely understand. Why don't we go ahead and get you some different samples? Let's try something different, okay? I want them to know that they can trust me. I want them to know that it's not something that they have to do. They don't have to sign up as a customer to try our product first. And this is why our auto shipment is so important. You guys hear about auto shipment all the time, but it's not because somebody's trying to make money off of you. It's because people are trying to help you make the most money. Okay. So if you run your auto shipment, I should have wrote this math down, but I didn't. So bear with me. Okay. I won't tell you that I got a perfect score on my ACT and can't do basic math now. Okay, so if you buy 2 bags of coffee, that's 30 cups, and you sell them at $5 each, that's $150. You guys, that's already profit. And if you do the 4 bags, like, do you realize you're literally paying for 2 bags of coffee, basically, because you're going to make more money than what you paid. Okay. So I'm always doing that. And then when those people are like, oh my gosh, I love the product, and they sign up as customers, yes, product rewards. As soon as they sign up as customers, then I have product rewards. And you know what I do? I tell them, because they signed up, I'm going to give their friends a discount on samples. Okay. When they sign up as a customer, I have them do a host post for samples. I don't have them do a host post as a customer, like to be a customer. I have them do a host post to be for samples, because I know they're going to come back. They're going to love the coffee. They're going to love the products that they sample. But then I also am getting fast cash. You guys, when I realized that this was a possibility, and I realized I don't have money to run an auto shipment. I'm living in a freaking shelter, y'all. Okay? Very literally living in a shelter. I was like, okay, how do I make money as fast as I can? And I'm like, I'm pre-selling samples, y'all. I'm over here like, oh my gosh, I have samples on the way. All I need to do is fill 5 spots, and I paid for 2 bags of coffee. And guess what? I did it. Okay? I was filling 5 spots, using those product rewards to get my coffee, and boom, I'm like making cash before I've even bought the product. Okay. It's all about how excited you are. If you're willing to tell people how amazing the product is, they're going to try it. Okay. So basically my host to post went from being just anything and everything to 1 product. Okay. And I went straight down to coffee. And that was because of the samples. I needed the sample money. Okay. So let's say somebody messages me from a post that I make when I'm going live making my coffee morning. Every single morning you make your coffee live. And I literally just went live and made my coffee like on my story like 20 minutes before this because I went and made coffee. If I'm making coffee, I'm showing people I'm making my coffee. If I'm using a product, I'm showing them I'm using my product. So let's say somebody messages me and they're like, oh my gosh, I want information. Or I see that they viewed my story. I'm like stalker mode. I'm like, hey, I saw you saw my story. Are you ready to order? Like, you're watching it, which means you must want it because I know that everybody needs this. So I'll message them. I'll be like, I know you saw my story and I wanted to let you know that I have some samples if you're interested in trying samples. Okay. I always tell them about the customer program, but if they're hesitant, I immediately am like, okay, samples. If somebody says, hey, I want to order as a customer on this date, and I message them and they don't reply, guess what? I message them the next day. Oh my gosh, I know that you couldn't get started as a customer yesterday, but I have really good news. I just got more samples. Are you ready to try some samples? Don't worry, there's no commitment behind it. And I'll still give you a discount. They're like, yeah, of course. Who doesn't want to try samples with no commitment and a discount? So those are the two really big keys. When you're talking about samples, you have to make sure that you're telling them there is no commitment, because you say samples and for you, it's like obvious, like it's a sample, like duh. But for them, it might not be. So I always tell them that. Another way to make quick keto cash is events. I have only ever done a few events, but you guys, the few events that I did, I strictly set up as a coffee bar and allowed people to have little samples of the coffee. And then I sold samples, like for them to take home. You guys, one of my events, I made over $700 because I had somebody who came back and literally at the end of my event, she came back and bought 6 bags of coffee off of me for retail price. Like, if I had not had those and I had not been willing to sell the samples, I would not have made that money. So that was a really big thing for me. That was by far my biggest month because at that one event, like I said, like $700, it was insane. But my goal every month is to make a minimum of $100 in keto cash. And the reason for that being is because that pays my phone bill. Okay. And I also really focus on fast starts. Super red mindset coming out.
Before we get into fast starts, oh my gosh, you guys, my notepad is filled with info, but I have 2 questions. My mind, you know that emoji, like my mind is just blown right now. And like her and I talked, but like we didn't get into all this stuff. So this is the first time I'm hearing it too. That's why I'm just like, tell me all the things. Okay. First question, how do you organize your follow-ups? Like, let's say you sell a sample. Do you have like a log where I know you said you're not green, but how do you know to follow up with them in 3 days and 7 days? At least answer that.
Okay, so I am negative green. I really have been working on this and I've been trying to find the way that really works for me. I've done the calendar way. I've done like an actual list. I've done like the name of the person who put up a post and then everybody who commented, or like I've done all of those things. And seriously, the only way I do it is I just go back through my messenger. Nobody gets missed that way. Okay. So on my people that I message on Monday, I follow up with them on Thursday. I just go back to Monday and I'll follow up with them. And if somebody gives me a specific date, then I'll put a reminder in the chat. Like, I have a 2-year-old son with autism and a puppy that we're currently training for him to be a service dog. I don't have time to be carrying around 74 different notebooks and like, save the trees, people. Use the electronics you're already using, okay? Like, put in a notification, and I'll always make it something really fun. Like, I don't just put like follow up. Like, I'll put something like, if they told me they want to get back to pre-baby weight, I'll be like, help Amanda get back to pre-baby weight, or pre-mom bod, or something like that. Like, I just try to make it something that's unique to them so that they see like, okay, because they see it. Okay, if you're new and you don't know this, they see the reminder. So they see whatever you put. So don't be like, try to force Amanda to get coffee. Like, don't be that girl, okay? Like, but seriously, I just try to make it fun. I try to make it feel like I'm personalizing it to them and I'm really caring about them. And I tell them, I'm going to put you in my calendar to follow up with you and save you that spot because I know how much you're going to love this. I tell them I'm going to do it so that when I do it, it's not like creepy stalker mode. Like she's like putting reminders in here. You know what I mean? So that's how I follow up. And like I said, if it's a specific day, I'll set a reminder. I'll put them in my calendar or whatever. But generally speaking, I just go back. And then at the end of the day, I just go through my messages to make sure, like somebody said they're going to do a host to post. I just make sure like, hey, did you get that post up? You know, at the end of the day, it's like the very last thing I do before I go to bed.
Okay, so perfect. You led right into it. What is your host to post for samples? Can you share just like, you know, the idea of it? You don't have to.
Yes. So I don't have a specific one, and here's why. I never use the same host to post more than 3 times in a day. I never use the same host to post for more than a week because algorithm can be our best friend or it can be our worst enemy. And I know that the best way to get around algorithm is not to be a robot, and using the same thing every day is a robot type thing. So it's always generally the same thing. I'm so excited. I just ordered my weight loss coffee and I have samples that I can give to my next few friends. Lauren's going to help me hook you up. Comment below or drop an emoji or something like that. Or hi. Oh, she's cute. Or something like that, you know. My friend Lauren helped me get a discount on this amazing coffee, and I want to offer that same discount to my friends. So go ahead and comment below to get info from her. This is so, so important because can I go into fast starts yet? Or are we not there yet? Okay. I take those people who make host posts for me and I turn them into my distributors the next month. Okay. So everybody who makes a post for me, I message them on the 1st of the next month. If I'm pushing for promotion, I do it the following week. And I do that. I keep track of that by going through my collections, or if you're doing the tag method through your timeline. And I message them and say, hey girl, I wanted to say thank you again for making that post for me. And helping me reach my goal. I wanted to let you know that what you do is exactly what I do, or what you did for me is exactly what I do, except for I get paid for it. Would you be interested in finding out how you could turn that post into making money? And they're like, wait, what I just did is exactly what you do to make money. So I just did this for free, but you got paid for it. And if they have people commenting on this post right away, I immediately message them. I'm like, okay, so here's the deal. We can get all of these people signed up right now with me for samples or to be a customer, either way, or we can get you signed up to do this business and then you can get the money from that instead of me. And I think it's really important to reach out and let them know like what they did is what you do. Because it is. I mean, it's posting. That's one of the things we do. And I don't ever just let them think like that's it. But when they say, yeah, I'm interested in more info, I tell them like, I'm going to help you post every day. I'm going to help you reach out to people about the products. I'm going to help you expand your network. Like I tell them, I'm going to help you do these things. And when they get signed up, I just take those customers and move them under them, of course, that they commented on. Or if they are looking for samples, they've got samples coming in their kit. So I will help them do that and get it that way. But that also is a really good way to get distributors signing up with volume already. Because if you're signing a distributor up who made a post about samples, and they have 7 people who want samples, you think they're not going to sign up and buy a bag of coffee to get those people their samples? You're crazy. You're crazy. You have distributors signing with volume because you had somebody make a status about samples. It's that simple. And it's really changed so much for me because it also makes it easier to get to 400 legs. It makes it easier, for promotions and all that. But then they're also already getting fast cash. So they're excited. They believe in it. They see the vision. They see that it's possible because they've already made money while they're signing up. So when those people are coming to them, because we all get them, saying, well, it's a scam, you're not going to make any money, they can easily say, no, I already made money. They can't, they don't ever doubt that because they've already made money before they've even signed up. So
my mind is just blown. Oh my gosh, this is so awesome. Is that the only style host to post that you do? Or let's say you sign a new distributor and they need cash or to like pre-sell, their samples from their kit. Do you do anything like that?
So when people sign up and they need to pre-sell their samples, I actually send them messages to send to their family and friends to hit that market first. I personally have and never have had any support from any of my family. They've never bought from me. Nothing. But I know a lot of people do have really close family and friends that would be willing to help them. So I always, get them messaging that first. But when I have a distributor sign up or somebody who's a potential distributor, I get them making a post immediately about a product. I have them look through the product list and I say, which product looks best to you? Like, which one if they've never tried a product, I ask them, which one sounds the most exciting to you? Which one do you want to talk about? Because here's the thing, if I'm in love with coffee, but they hate coffee, how am I supposed to expect them to talk to somebody about coffee and be genuine about it? And chances are their family and friends know that they don't like coffee. So I always have them, one of the first things they do, well, it's the second thing they do. The first thing they do is they make sure they have a podcast app for personal development. And then I get them making a post about a product that they love. And generally it is coffee or TFX.
So true. I love that. Okay, so someone asked in the chat, how much do you sell them for and how do you receive the money? She did already go over the pricing, unless
I can do it again. So coffee is, it's normally $5 for one pack, but I never tell somebody that I will give them less than $5. So
I do 1 for $8. You better raise that bar too. I do 15, 1 for $8, and then 3 for $20. What do you do or you do 5 only? So what do you do for 5?
I do 5 for $25. And I take payment through PayPal, or Facebook Pay, which is linked to my PayPal, and I don't do anything else. And the reason for that being is because it is really easy. If somebody wants to dispute something, it's really easy for you to prove it with PayPal and back it up, and you don't lose your money. I know a lot of people like Venmo. I never really got into Venmo, just because the few times I've had an issue with PayPal of any sort, they've always been like super helpful, and I've never lost money, even with people trying to make stupid claims. People are crazy. So I just like PayPal. And if they're face to face, I'll do cash with them.
Something else I was going to ask. Oh, how do you mail them out? Because I know sometimes whenever I mail samples, it's super cheap. And then sometimes the post office wants to make their money because I don't know if you guys know, the post office has competitions like within districts to see who's highest ringer and stuff like that. So some post offices, I feel like, will rip you off. So you got to find one that's good. But is there a trick that you have, like how you save, most of your money so that way you don't get ripped off basically to mail it?
Yeah. So if you're doing 2 samples, you can put them in an envelope and you have to tape them to the inside of the envelope. The reason for that being, any samples, if you're putting them in a regular envelope, like a letter envelope, you have to tape them to the inside of the envelope. The reason being is because if they slide on top of each other, they will not go through the envelope reader. However, as long as they are separated and they're laying flat, they do. So you don't have to pay the extra postage for a package. It becomes an envelope and it's like 59 cents or something for a stamp. So doing it that way. So if I'm doing like samples of energy pixie sticks or greens or wraps, I fold those things up. Like I fold them in half and I stick them in a regular envelope. I do cheap as possible. And if it's if it's like 5 or more samples of coffee, I just find the smallest envelope that I can fit them in. And they do have to go as a package. It's usually about $4. But it's worth it, especially since I'm using product rewards and my auto shipment anyway.
So you said 5 for 25 for just coffee. What's your skinny mocha prices? Do you also do the samples, like the little packets of the greens on the go, the chocolate ones?
Yes. So everything else I do for $3. So energy pixie sticks, greens, collagen is $5. Collagen it's pricier. So I do $5 for collagen, but everything else I'll do for $3. And if they get 5, if they get 5 or more, they get like free shipping and a free sample or something like that. I don't really like to do a lot of free samples because, hello, I just told you guys I'm really, really red, and that's like not only missing out on my my product, but it's giving away free stuff. So
What do you say your your ratio is? Here's my green coming out. What do you feel like your ratio is for how many samples you send out, and then how many people like buy again or sign up? Like, is it 50-50? You know what I mean? Like, majority of the people, because your prices are because I feel like your prices are really good and you hustle, I think, more than I do. I raise my prices up a little bit, but I'm like wondering if I should lower them, and then maybe they would actually sign up after the fact.
So I would say out of 10 people who buy samples, probably 7 of them come back as customers within the next 3 months. So it's not always right away. So that's why it's so important to keep following up and continuing to build that relationship and continuing to show people every single day you're using the products. But I would say 6 out of those 10 times people sign up as a customer for that specific product. Probably 2 out of 10 times they come back and they order something, but it's not that product. So
Awesome. Wow. This is blowing my mind. Okay. Are there any other tips that you would give? Let's say maybe someone's brand new or even not brand new. Maybe they're just brand new to making cash. Cause I feel like, things that may be common sense to me, maybe other people don't, get. Like for me, I know it's definitely making sure that you're posting about those products that you're trying to make cash off of. Otherwise it's, like the connection's gone. But what are some other tips that you would give that you are like always doing that you think helps make the cash? If that makes sense.
yeah. So, I not, especially if I need cash right then and there, I'm quick to message people to ask them to try samples. Instead of being a customer, instead of doing host to post, I'll just message them and say, hey, I just had a couple sample spots open up and I just wanted to see if you'd be interested because I know you've been watching my stories, or, I know we've been friends for a while, so I don't know if you've ever thought about trying it or whatever it is. I think it's really important that if you're trying to make cash, you're willing to reach out for it. Just like if you're trying to sign customers, you're reaching out for customers. If you're trying to sign distributors, you're reaching out for distributors. It's the same thing. It's just a different question. Do you want to try samples instead of do you want to be a customer? And I think that beyond that, it's just it really comes down to being willing to order the product for yourself and for samples. Set a goal. Like we set goals as customers, we have steps to success. You have to have a goal. Like I said, my minimum is $100. And if it comes down to the end of the month, I've not had this happen, but if it were to come down to the end of the month and I haven't sold my samples, because $100 is 4 people sampling coffee. 4. That's it. And if you're pushing for steps to success, the chances are you're adding 50 to 100 potential customers to your list every month. So 4 samples is super doable. And I mean, samples doesn't just have to be social media. Like I go to church every Sunday and I take my coffee with me and I stand smack in the middle of the coffee bar and I make my coffee right there in front of everybody. And I've sold samples at church. I sold samples to the lady at the post office. You guys, when I go mail my samples, I never walk into a post office with my samples ready to mail. Ever. I stand right in the middle of everyone. They have to walk around me, and I put my samples in my packaging at the desk in front of the post office people. because they see me coming in there all the time. I always go to the same post office. There is a very rare chance I would ever go to the other post office. We have 5 of them in my town, and I would never go to any of the other ones. I always go to the same one because they see me in there. One of the post office ladies, her boyfriend is a customer of mine for Keto Coffee. Another one, she just bought samples off of me this last week. And I have to go up there tomorrow to mail more samples. So guess who's going to follow up with her? Tomorrow in person, because I know that she works on Wednesdays. I'm not a stalker, I promise. I just like making money. But it's something that you have to be willing to do out in the open. You can't be trying to hide it. And yeah, it might take a little bit longer, but seriously, totally worth it. And I've had customers coming in to ship things that'll take a business card for me or a Blitz card, whichever you use, or I'll add on Facebook. Like I went to the post office right before Christmas, and this lady was trying to ship something to a family member, and she was $12 short for the shipping. And I was like, oh, don't worry, I'll pay for it. And she was like, what? I was like, I'll pay for it. And she just kind of looked at me, and I was like, I just made, $25 on this. It's only going to cost me $5 to ship it. I'll pay for the rest. Mind blown. She's still on my potential distributors list, because guess what, Bethany, I'm not letting you go. I'm not letting you go. But seriously, like, doing it out in the open and just being like, here I am. It's so worth it. It's so worth it.
All right, I have 2 more questions, and then if no one else, I don't know if anyone else has any, but then we'll let you go get some rest or make some cash. I don't know what you're gonna do, but you're firing me up. Okay.
Aren't we gonna power hour after this?
Probably. Do you ever ask your loyal customers if they want to buy samples off of you? Maybe they've been hesitant to try the coffee, but now they do want it. You know what I mean? Like, let's say they're a customer already for a couple of years, or 6 months, and maybe they've never tried the coffee. Would you offer them samples, or how do you go about it?
Yes, I offer samples to all of my customers. Whether they it doesn't matter if they've never tried the coffee. If they've tried the coffee, hey buddy. If they've tried the coffee, I still ask them to try a different flavor of coffee, and I'll put that in a little box, charge them an extra $1 for shipping, and give them samples of the salted caramel or the pumpkin spice. Like, we have 3 different flavors. And he's too cute. My neighbor's son, he's like, what you doing over there? Anyways, I'll let them try a different type of the coffee or one of the other samples that I offer. So yeah.
What would be your message to send to a customer?
Hey, want to try some samples? I mean, like, honestly, I don't make it fancy. I don't make it complicated. I keep it as simple as possible. Hey, I know you've been using this product and wanted to see if you're interested in trying samples of another product. Sometimes they'll be like, no, I don't want to try samples, but could I just add that to my auto shipment? Like, I mean, and to be 100% honest with you, here's the deal. If they're already running something, an auto shipment, I am going to send them a free sample of something. If they've finished their 3 months and they don't immediately turn it off, 4th month, they're getting a free sample from me of some sort, whether it's, 1 energy pixie stick or, 1 sample of the coffee or whatever it is, because they need to know that I care about them and that I appreciate them. And if they love it, which I know they're going to, guess what? They're going to add that to their auto shipment, which means my paycheck is going up. So
yep. And you guys, Christmas is coming up. Start planning now. I know that I'm going to be mailing out Christmas cards with a free sample because we have product rewards for a reason. Yes, it's for us, but the reason why we get those product rewards, and I feel like everyone should have them because of conference tickets, you guys. We have 5, okay? And those expire, so you got to use them up. Keto Energy, boom. If you don't push that, it's time to start. You know what I mean? Mail that out. It's flat, it's light, and that I feel like is the cheapest way, to get new samples out at Keto Energy because it's the smallest, packaging. The other ones have like more air in them. So sometimes they want to charge more, but I straight up go to the post office too. And I'm like, what's the cheapest way to mail this? I run a business. And I actually just got a business card from my new post office. He's like, you're a business owner. We work with business owners for discounts or something. I was like, what? So I'm about to go ask him that too. But you guys, they're willing to work with you. And that's what she was saying too. You make relationships with your post office. And granted, yes, we don't have to have stock of inventory. And, we promote that we don't have to mail stuff out. But do you like money? You know what I mean? Like you have to sometimes look out the pros and cons. And I will wait. I don't know if you do this too, but I will wait. If I know I have to go to the post office for my Poshmark like side hustle, I will try and make sample cash. So that way it makes my trip to the post office worth it. It's not just for one, $5 profit. It is like I'm hustling to make more money. So that way it covers my gas, it covers my time and my efforts going out. So hopefully you do that too, right? You don't just go every day. Like you wait.
No.
Yeah.
Samples go out on Friday. But no, you guys, we don't
That would be
have
to set like a date. So you always do it on Friday? I need to do that.
I change it every couple of weeks, but the reason I do it that way is because I'm seeing the same people in the post office every day, every time I go.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, guys, we don't have to do samples. We don't have to keep inventory. We get to, okay? Our company literally is paying us to get samples, okay? They give us this discount. You use the samples to make money. You're making money. You're being paid to get samples, okay? And it's one of the 5 ways we get paid. Like, that's what's so amazing about this business is we don't just get an hourly salary. Like, we get paid in so many different ways. Samples, fast starts. You guys, fast starts are life. You have to be enrolling distributors. You have to, because if you're not, you're losing out on money. You guys don't have to be a Ruby to make $500 a month, okay? You can be, I have a hair in my mouth. You can be an executive, sign 2 or 3 distributors. Let's say 3 because we're going to hit our steps to success every month. Okay. You sign 3 distributors and you do $200 worth of samples. You've made $500 as for Ruby. And you might not even be a Ruby yet. You're making more than an average Ruby and you haven't even gotten your commission check yet. Like, take advantage of that.
You guys think about it like this too. When you, I preach making cash all the time to my team. When you go to Sephora or you order online for Sephora and you can add all those free samples in, don't you get super pumped and super excited? And then you probably go and buy that product. This is no different. Just take that aspect of free samples from anything else, and apply it to this.
Exactly. Y'all, I cannot be the only one who goes to Sam's Club multiple times a week in order to get free samples. Do not lie to me. Do not, okay? We all do it. We all like free and we all like samples, especially when we're talking about samples from a company that we are already obsessed with.
Yep. Do you ever make statuses like I'm down to my last 2 sample packs, who wants it, to put it out there as your messaging, to hit them with the both aspect of it, or no?
So if I make a status about samples, it's okay, guys, I've had so many people messaging me, asking me if they can try samples, and you guys know I only open samples very rarely, so now's the time. I only have 10 spots to try our coffee without commitment and still getting a massive discount. Ready, set, go. I make sure that it is not something I'm doing regularly. This isn't something that I post every week. I usually post it once a month, generally the end of the month, so that if I need to place an order, I have that extra cash to do it for something. Like if I, need volume somewhere or whatever for promotion or maintenance, then I have that extra cash. It's not coming out of my pocket.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you strategically do it when you feel like you want that push or you have the extra product, basically.
Yes.
Awesome. Does anyone have any questions? Is there anything else you wanted to share or add?
I don't think so. You guys are more than welcome to message me on Facebook or follow me on Facebook anytime to ask questions or anything else. I am totally open in here, and I just super excited that I got to do.
Yeah, this was so awesome. I learned so much, and I'm about to take my cash making skills to the next level. So Hopefully you guys do too. And just know that if, our job used to be to get wraps on people, right? That's what Pam always said. That's what they promote. Just get the wrap on people. Y'all, now it's just get the product in their hand and follow up to make sure they actually try it. Something else I was going to say. Do you send, what do you send with the sample? Do you send a thank you card? How do you give them the instructions? What's your method for that?
I do not send anything. I don't send thank you cards. That costs money. I actually have an iPad. So what I do is I use the app Canva. It's got a lot of free options and create custom cards for each person and send them when I send out their package. Because I always send it 5 or more, so it always comes with tracking. So I will create a custom card and put their tracking number on their thank you card and send it to them. And on that thank you card, it just tells them to let me know when they get it. I also put it in my calendar that it should be there it's almost always Monday because, like I said, I ship out on Friday unless they're really close. Sometimes they get it Saturday, but I will message them on Monday and say, hey, you should be getting your package today. When you get it, let me know so I can tell you exactly how I make it. But again, if you're making your product every day on Facebook, the chances are they already know exactly how to make it. And so they feel more comfortable with trying it because they're watching you do it. And if you're, showing them how to do that, they get to see it. I created a video for my wraps so that I can send people a video that just shows them exactly how to do a wrap. But other than that, I just send a voice memo telling them my favorite way personally to make the coffee or the greens or collagen.
That's awesome. Do you feel like you sell the coffee the most, or what's your? Yeah.
Coffee and energy pixie stick. They're the 2 things that I sell the most of for samples.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This was amazing. I'll have the replay up on my YouTube for whoever needs it. And let's all go become Keto Cash Slayers. I love it. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.